Welcome to the Redvee TV show, supported by Chapel House Cars for the 2025 season. Kevin, Saints winning and not changing squads is bad for viewers.
Because what have we got to say?
Let's just put last week's recording out.
And just dub over saying instead of Salford Hull? We can't because Salford are a special case, aren't they?
You're saying Saints
Uh,
aren't going to beat Hull FC by 58?
yes, I am saying Saints won't beat Hull FC by 58.
Okay. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Um, this week, Kevin, I am not giving Saints my wrath. I will not moan about them. I am moaning. My moan is going to be about the Highways Agency.
Yes, yes. Full motorway closure. M62 westbound, so on our way home, between junctions 29 to 28, which is, I think 29 is around where the M1 is. Carriageway closures from 8 o'clock on Friday night through to 6 o'clock on Monday morning. Joy of joys.
Yes. Luckily, we will be returning from Hull with 2 points, Kevin.
Um, yeah, hopefully so. Listen, I think we're currently going well enough to get points as long as we keep the improvement going. Um, I think Hull are very much hot and cold, a bit like we are. So we know that if we turn up and aren't on it, and Hull have one of the better days, it'll be a trickier afternoon than it needs to be. Um, but if we carry on with this improvement, and I know we only played Salford last week, I think we were at pains to say that a lot in the instant reaction. But if we carry on with the improvements, and we'll probably have Curtis Sheringham back in the 17 to strengthen us. I think it'll be. I think we've got the definite potential to go over to Hull, get the 2 points, and hopefully be at home before 9 o'clock on Saturday night.
I'll be happy with them over 9 o'clock on Sunday morning.
Yeah, fair enough.
Anyway, it feels like we've done the show without actually.
Without putting the graphic up.
This week, it's Highway to Hull, but closed back.
Yeah, fun and games.
Yeah, I'm trying to think I can't remember when did Hull last beat us over there? Was it June 2023? It's one of those
Was
places.
that
Yeah,
when we played Morgan Knowles? No.
June 2023. I'm just looking. No, we won there. It was round 16, June 23. They beat us 34-6 the week after we beat them in the cup. We beat them in the cup there, and we went
Yeah,
back the
when we
following week and got beaten in the league. And if
yeah,
you
and we
remember
were
the episode, it was like,
absolutely
well, we'd
atrocious.
have rather won the cup game.
Yeah, and we were absolutely atrocious. Is that the game that we played Morgan Knowles at 9 and had Joey Olsick on the bench? And
Yes. And you went
yeah,
mad.
I did. Yeah, well, why wouldn't I? If nothing else, if I'm not consistent on anything else, it's the fact that Morgan Knowles, Jake Wingfield should not be starting at 9. It should be a specialist hooker.
Speaking of hookers, should Moses and Bai stay at 7 this week?
I'm torn on this one a little bit because you need your succession planning with George Whitby um, doing well when he's coming, but also, do you change a winning team? Do you change a team that has beaten Leeds? And again, Leeds weren't the best version of themselves. And yeah, it's only Salford, but it's a tough one to call. I think that the main thing is Moses going to get a new deal? And are we stopping George Whitby playing just to kind of keep him in there? I'm okay with George having a bit more time away from first team as long as he gets rugby somewhere. So he goes to Halifax and gets games, or he goes to Swinton and gets games. I'm all right with that. But I think I'd prefer to see him put into a game like this so he can learn on the job that this is a tougher game again that we need to be managed through, and he needs to kind of take what he's learning and what he's learned off the players out there, and put it into practice.
See, I completely disagree with you. George Whitby, for me, future of the club. He's not learning anything by going back to playing in the Championship now and risking injury there. If he's fit and he's gonna play, he plays Super League. If you want to if he's not playing because either giving him a week or two off to rest or overcome any injury, fair enough. For me, George Whitby does not miss out on first team rugby to go representing another club.
I think the issue with that is why not? Why can't he go and learn his trade some more in the lower league? He's made 9 appearances. He's not a seasoned veteran. He's a lad who we've got a duty of care to his career. So
So is
why
he
not?
learning in the Championship?
What? Yeah, he will be because he's got fellas who are going to be thinking, right, I'm gonna knock his block off here.
So you put him
They,
out
they've
of the target.
they've got, they, yeah, but then he's got to learn that.
I
So
think it's too good for
so,
him.
so you go if he goes into the championship and is a target, then he's got to learn how to manage that in a game, and it gives him another facet of his game.
I
As I
think
said right, as I said right at the end of that, you want rather have him in the team in a game like this. So when you said I completely disagree with you, after I've just said I would have him in the team in a game like this, you're kind of contradicting yourself.
okay. I completely disagree with the first part of your conversation. Then I personally think if George Whitby is fit, he is our best option in the halves, and therefore he should be in the team. Um, and you can
I
argue,
just think
listen,
we've got a duty of care to his career to not just keep having him as the spotted half that is run through and run through week in, week out. Yes, he's got to learn, but you've got to be able to dip him in and dip him out where he's best for his career. We're not winning anything this year, so you do
which is why I
best
think
by
it's a perfect time to blood him, and I don't think he's getting run through each week. What I would say is, you were saying earlier about you're a bit torn because it's hard to change a winning team. Let's not forget the only reason he's missed out the last couple of weeks is because he was played, if you wanted to rest him, played in a situation where he should have probably been getting a week off against Salford. And
yeah.
he got a HIA in that game.
I think probably at the start of the year you pick it as soon as you know what the Salford team's going to be like. They're probably excuse me the games that you would have thought he would have been pitched into. Obviously, with all things being equal, that you're playing your lad who was number 6 at 6, your lad who was number 7 at 7. That's where you could say, Johnny, have your week off, and we don't need you this week. As I say, I'd prefer to see George in the team this week, but I don't think you can necessarily knock him stepping down to the lower leagues. Pretty similar to the likes of, say, George Delaney. And you're saying, will he learn anything? Of course he will. Of
You
course
could
he will,
argue
because
though,
he's
Kev, we haven't
playing
got.
rugby against people whose livelihoods depend on it, whose win bonuses depend on it.
Okay then, Kev. If we're struggling in the halves at the moment, it's the fact that listen, we end up with Moses playing there, and that's not to knock the job Moses has done. I just think it'd be madness to send out your fit and potentially best half in terms of form at this moment in time to potentially get hurt elsewhere when you could be playing for your own club. And listen, if he plays in the Saints jersey and gets hurt, so be it. That's the nature of sport.
It's a risk you've got to. It's a risk that you've got to weigh up. Do you want him playing? Do you want him keeping that intensity? Because if he's not being picked for the first team, then what you're doing, you're just going to start losing the intensity, the match sharpness that he's got, just because you're not playing him anywhere.
But I think
So it's a
if you
risk.
send him out on loan, Kevin, you're sending him out because you're saying he isn't currently your best option in the halves.
I don't know if you are. I think you're probably just saying at the minute this is what I'm going with. You're not saying that there's a. I think Wello said this in his presser that there's a right or wrong answer here. I think all you're saying is at the minute this is what we're running with. So we want you to maintain sharpness if you sent him out to the likes of Halifax. We
Okay,
want you to
I'm not even on
maintain.
the fence here. The wrong answer is playing Moses ahead of George Whitby.
Okay, it's a fair opinion.
And that's not to say Moses has done nothing wrong, and he's done enough over the last couple of weeks to justify his selection. But what I'd like to see more of him when he comes off the bench. And I think it would. I also think it'd be extremely harsh on Jake Burns, who's done well in the last couple of weeks.
I
But it's
think
nice to have these calls to make.
it is nice to have these calls to make. I think the one, and this is going to be harsh on Moses. I think the positive of having Moses at 7 is you've not got him as backup 9, because I think once he comes on as backup 9, he slows the game down. I think with Moses, it's either he plays at 7 or he doesn't. He's not in the squad at the minute, because I think when he comes on at 9, he doesn't provide that kind of boost that you need. So I'm not comparing him to either Kieran Cunningham or James Roby. But you remember when one had come off and the other one had come on, and you wouldn't lose that intensity. I feel like we lose that when Moses is your backup 9. And I think Moses is a great lad when we've met him. Absolutely terrific lad. Seems to do a lot for the club. But just going off what I'm seeing on the park, you're not seeing anyone scoop from dummy half. You're not seeing him pass it off the floor. You're not seeing anything that makes the defence guess. It's just an easy shovel ball to the first receiver. And I think if you team that up alongside what we spoke about after the game against Salford, which is your backup runners, they are two areas of the game that Saints need to be better at. The intensity off the bench to maintain the platform we've had to start, and backing up runners. You think, well, Darrell Clark gives you that backup option, doesn't he? He scored a try, again, it's only Salford, but he scored a try backing up and running into a lovely gap and through under the sticks. Would we have seen Moses do that if he'd have been the backup 9? I've not seen enough for me to say, yes, we would.
Okay, I've changed my mind in the space of 2 minutes. Moses, I'm sorry, you're now out to see dropped.
Okay.
Okay, I'll take the arguments. Yeah, he's played well at 7, isn't good enough to be back up 9 at the minute. Yeah, okay. I'm with you now. See, you're 50-50 on convincing me tonight.
Well, as I say, with the whole game, I would put George Whitby back in. I absolutely would put him back in. He's had a bit of time off, and I would probably look at maybe in the future where we've got Cass at the start of August, or Huddersfield coming up there as well, possibly around that time. You could potentially go, well, I'm going to dip him out for a week or two here, and just let him have a rest. Young lad, looking after his career, looking after his long term health. That's what I'm going to do. You potentially could.
And these not the weeks Johnny Lomax should be getting a week off, though.
Yeah, you could do. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, you could. And if we've got players back, that's when you could, arguably, if you're gonna drop Johnny and you're gonna put someone into 6, do you put Moses into 6, or do you try Harry Robertson?
Yeah. Um, Good to see they got Dion Cross to do the pose, and he said, "What? How do you want me to pose?" And he said, "Pose like Dave at the Chapel House sign."
Yeah, very good.
Who are the 4 that miss out for me? John Bennison, Jake
Yep,
Davis.
yep.
I think Noah misses out this week.
He probably does, but he shouldn't, because he should be ahead of Iggy.
Yep. And Moses. They're my 4 who miss out. Yeah, I completely agree. Um, Noah carries people with him, makes decent yardage, offers you far more than Iggy Parsi. I will die on that hill. Unfortunately, I don't think the coach agrees.
I don't think the coach agrees. I think that they would be my 4 to miss out. I actually think it'll be George Whitby rather than Moses who misses out.
Oh, so you think Weller will stick with Moses?
Yeah. It's not what I'd do, but I think he will. I think he'll stick with Moses. I think George will be 18th again.
It's
Or
playing.
George or no will be
It's
18th.
too safe. Trust in the youth. Trust in the future of the club.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You've
Hull FC then, Kev.
Oh
Oh, I
yeah.
like
I've
that picture. It's like a moody, sultry look.
Moody sultry look, okay. So one change, Jed Cartwright comes back in. He's been absent since round 5 when he pulled up with a hamstring injury. Youngster Will Hutchinson makes way. Hull still missing Will Price, Liggy Sow, John Asiata, ooh, pantomime villain, and Jordan Lane. But yeah, that's the 21.
They're not doing very well at home, but good on the road. As you said earlier, a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde team.
Yeah, Q Saints going over there and getting turned over. Now you've said that. But yeah, they seem to be thriving a little bit more. Well, a lot more away from home. Um, as I say, hot and cold. Nothing that you're necessarily massively worried about. I think if they'd have gone well the past couple of weeks and based on, we'll bring it up. Your 11 out of 12 is still looking great. I think when we made them predictions, I would have probably had this as one that Saints would lose. Um, but I don't think they've been going as well as they probably could. They've got some good players in that team, but I'm not entirely sure as a unit they've clicked. And I hope that they don't come 3 o'clock on Saturday as well.
Nail it to the mast now. Tom Briscoe needs one try to reach 100 for Hull FC.
Anytime try scorer Tom Bristol.
Yes. And he will overtake Leon Price in Super League's all-time try scorers as well. I wouldn't have had that either.
No, I wouldn't. But yeah, that'll happen now. That'll absolutely happen. Um, yeah, and probably Sam Essay, while he's on loan from that lot over the hill, will probably score as well.
Predictions then, Kevin.
6 by 10.
I've gone Saints by 10 as well. Clip it
Yeah,
now.
I think
Save yourself a journey. There's your answer.
if we turn up and are as kind of build, as I said at the start, if we turn up and build on what we've done over the past couple of weeks, especially that Leeds game, then we're obviously in with a chance. If Hull turn up good and we turn up as we have done in games, you can't rewrite history. Don't go what anybody says. You can't rewrite history. If we turn up like we did against Warrington, especially the one that absolutely sticks in the mind, then it'll be two tramps fighting in a ditch over a cold bag of chips, and we've got every chance of having to do a detour on the way home while moaning again.
If you think you only have to put up with me moaning for 15 minutes, try 3 hours to go on the detour.
3 hours. Oh, I think I'm going to have to stop at Ferry Bridge to plug the car in.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we will meet you in sunny Hull. Catch you soon.